There we go. Sorry about that, folks. My microphone was not wanting to cooperate there. Anyway, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 3 of Sonadow Play Ace Attorney Apollo Justice Trilogy. Joining me, as per usual, is my lovely girlfriend, IMShadow 007. Say hello, hun.
Hello.
And as the Twitter promo said, today we begin our first proper trial.
Yes.
Load game. Alright, let's do this. Mr. Wright's not here today?
He said his old foot injury was acting up.
Old injury? He was all smiles yesterday.
Yes, he smiled when he said we'd be fine as long as you're there, Trucy.
Yes, fine. We'll be fine. Here comes justice! I started my voice training at 5 this morning.
Ooh, do some now. I want to see, here.
Huh? Oh, okay. My name is Apollo Justice and I'm fine!
That sounds more like a self-mantra than voice training. I'm fine.
I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? Good morning. Yo, sup? Hit me with a guilty verdict, G. See if I care. You just hang loose and let things go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? Not really. Not really.
Oh, wow.
Wookie, don't be running your mouth like that in here. See? That's the difference between me and you, old man. I ain't afraid of no cops. Real G's can keep it real till they spend some hard time in the pen. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Precisely.
Sounds like they've both been voice training too, Apollo.
My worst fears realized. The trial's starting and I still haven't had a real talk with my client. Blah, 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 blah. Court is now in session for the trial of Walkie Kataki. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready to rock and roll here, Judge.
Tim! Guy from yesterday! He's a prosecutor?
It's Mr. Gavin's brother. Long time no see, Prosecutor Gavin. What, were you taking a leave of absence? You know that little band I started in my free time? Thing is, we got real popular. Hard to say 9 to your fans when 3 of your singles go platinum, yeah? And no, I'm not doing a fake German accent for him. I see. To be honest, I was a little concerned. I feared that you might still be distraught over that one trial. Not to worry, Herr Judge. I wouldn't miss this day in court for the world. It's worth even more than VIP passes for one of my concerts, yeah? How can I pass up a chance to see the true strength of the little boy who bested my brother? It was worth cancelling a show or two. Understood. You may give your opening statements to the court. Before that, I was thinking. Is the air in this courtroom not a bit serious? It is a court of law. That's no way to get the crowd jumping, Herr Judge. They're not supposed to jump. This is a courtroom. Achtung, baby. Today we play it my way.
He's so cool!
What's that noise? Sometimes you have to get on up in the order to get down to prosecuting. This is crazy. The victim, Paul Maractus, director of the Maractus Clinic. This scene, People Park. He was found pulling a noodle stand. What in the world was a doctor doing pulling a noodle stand? Yes, I believe. You will only find that out by asking the defendant right here, right now. Because it's an undeniable truth that he shot the victim. What do you mean, undeniable? If you were to glare at anyone, Herr Justice, glare at the punk in the defendant's chair. His crime was witnessed quite clearly, you see. Very well. Please admit this witness to the court.
I love it!
9, not yet. First, there's a little matter to be cleaned up. Could you talk without the accompaniment?
I swear I could see the guitar for a second.
What is it, Prosecutor Gavin? The motive, Herr Judge. Why did the little punk do it? Why did he kill the director of the Maractus Clinic? Not so fast! The defendant doesn't have to explain that. Oh, but what if the defendant specifically requests to do so? And he did this morning? I want to give a shout out to all my homies, I believe he said. What? What is right?
They always say that on stage. You should hit the crowd with speed and ferocity. Sounds like he got you good, huh, Polly?
I'm not a parrot, stop calling me that! Well, this is highly unusual, but the court will now hear from the defendant concerning his motive in the crime. So, you, son, are you the defendant? Walkie, are you? I ain't your son, old man! You step to a Kataki, you best be prepared to step strong! You step to a public official, you'd best be prepared to step into jail.
You gotta hand it to him. Walkie sure has goals, has guts.
He doesn't have guts, he's just stupid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the reason I'm not giving Clavier a German accent is because in the later games, he does have a voice, and it's just an American accent.
And he's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, which is badass.
It's not about his guts I'm worried about, it's more his brains. Well then, the court will now hear testimony on the defendant's motive. From the defendant himself.
Here we go.
I'll tell you one thing, that doctor was a quacker. Or Quaker, however you're saying it.
Quacker.
I know. Someone had to show him what's what. I was in his clinic about half a year ago. He messed up my ops something bad. And then he just let me go without a word. See you later, bye. So I gotta go in and get another doc to patch me up again. That was the day I done figured it out. No OG's gonna let that pass. That's why I went to his pad that night, you know what I'm saying? No, not really. You reek of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
I know, right?
You're saying you were one of the victim's patients? Which, the game was out for a few years when this originally came out, so...
Yeah.
A lot of stuff goes down when you're keeping it real on the street. True that. Ugh. I'll tell you one...
I'm almost tempted to hear him say Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West.
I ain't saying that.
Or get jiggy with it.
I ain't saying that. Anyway. I'll tell you one thing. That doc was whack. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. I can't believe this is the first time I'm hearing about all of this.
Press on the third statement.
So you were a patient at the Maractus Clinic half a year ago? For what reason? I had what you might call a mark of honor. Can you explain precisely what was wrong? We had a little run-in with the rivals, rivals family. That's when I pulled a jack move. And ran into an ambush. G busted a cap right in me. So, translation, you got shot.
Yes.
According to my sources, you couldn't stand the stress of waiting. And ran in 15 minutes before the appointed time. By yourself. Hey, I was more than a match for those guys. So you were carried to the Maractus Clinic from there? Apparently he was shot in the heart. Shot in the heart and he's still alive.
Did he give Love a bad name? I can catch bullets between my teeth. What? But I never learned how to catch them with my heart.
Well, you're likely not to survive if you catch them with your heart. He's just lucky.
Yeah.
The bullet stopped just short of my thumper, you know what I'm saying? I would have been golden if it weren't for that whack doc. Can't even take out a stupid bullet. So, as you say, the surgery was a failure. That ain't all of it, Holmes. Ugh.
Fourth statement, press the fourth statement.
What do you mean, he just let you go without a word? What do you think it means? It's whack, that's what! I'm not sure what that means. Neither do I, Judge. But that sounds bad. It sounds as though Herr Doctor wished to hide his mistake. This is why he let the defendant go. He's a liar, straight up. He's a better G than me.
Pressing the fifth statement.
I feel myself dying a little more and more every time I have to voice this guy.
I'm sorry.
So this bullet is still... You know it! I can still feel it! Right there in my chest, pressing up against my heart. Sometimes it's safer to...
Take it out!
Sometimes it's safer to actually leave a bullet in.
And the heart?
Well, maybe not in the heart, but in some instances, yeah, it's safer to actually leave it in the body. Your words are like a bullet, shot straight into my heart. Or something to that effect. Incidentally, that's from one of our hit singles. Well, that sounds like a straightforward case of malpractice. Word, J-Man. Weren't no accident, that's for shizzle. Ugh. This guy, you know who this guy reminds me of? He reminds me of Jimmy from Grand Theft Auto 5. Michael's son.
He does!
Oh, and just as irritating and unlikable.
It's like, hey, Walkie, why does Snoop Dogg always carry an umbrella? For drizzle.
Ugh.
Thank you, good night.
I'm gonna put you in a court for puns.
Yes!
It seems there was issues with this doctor. Man, putting him down was like doing the world a favor. Walkie, please consult your lawyer before saying things like that.
Chin up, Apollo. Back straight.
Oh, you actually know my name. But why did this mistake only come to light that day? It was found during the family health checkup. The family health checkup? That was the wackest thing of all. All us G's lining up taking eye exams and all that. Better to die young than fade away, bzoy. A relief to hear. What's a relief? Oh, did your father not tell you? That bullet you carry so close to your heart, if not attended to immediately, it could kill you.
Exactly, that's what I've been saying.
What? Yes, Herr Dr. Maractus has knowledge concerning this ticking time bomb in you. Knowledge that could have saved your life. No, wait! That's whack! There is proof. Your checkup report. Thank you.
Thank you.
How ironic that you would kill the one man capable of helping you. You're almost as careless as he was.
This is bad.
Well, now that the place is hopping, let's get this gig started. Started? We've had enough of a warm-up act, yeah? Time to hear from the witness.
Lucky sure is quiet all of a sudden.
I'm a little uneasy myself. Is this Gavin's strategy? Oh god, this guy.
Him.
You will tell us your name and occupation. Oh, he's reading the book backwards, I just noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Wesley Stickler. Yeah, so they didn't change his sprite, since this is meant to be localized.
Yeah.
By occupation, I take it you refer... society at large is supported the livelihood. Under the definition, I must confess to being unemployed. However, we must acknowledge the meaning of identity, which is commonly attached to the notion of occupation. And once we have accepted this reality, we see that our confusion is not gestalt, but derives from the vagueness inherent all representations of...
Good job!
Fucking hell.
That was amazing!
Thank you.
Much better than I did as old bag.
Well, it's, Glaswegians are naturally fast speakers, so I suppose I had some benefit that way.
I envy you!
Yeah, I have to slow right down when talking to her. Because if I spoke at my normal pace, she probably wouldn't understand a fucking word I was saying.
Don't.
By which he means to say, he's a student. A junior at Ivy University, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, in the Department of Science and Engineering. Filled with curiosity for all things, I spend my days in pursuit of truth. Owning my... Herr Stickler, please direct said curiosity to the case at hand today.
Very well, Mr. Stickler. Please testify to the court about what you saw on the night of the crime.
You ask quite simplistically what I saw. However, I must understand that the Homo sapiens possess 2 eyes of these digested interpret data, sending images in the form of signals.
Guess I spoke too soon.
That night, I passed through the park on my way home from shopping when I saw them. One man pulling a stand, another man facing him. I saw them quite clearly. The man facing the victim was the defendant. In the hand he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand. A shot! The bullet hit the man pulling the stand from the front, square in the forehead. Yes, I know they read the opposite direction in Japan. I'm just saying that because they didn't change his sprite, because this is meant to be localized to be in the USA.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else in the park at the time?
I can say with 100% accuracy that there was not. The pistol our witness refers to is this. Looks like a 9mm.
Looks like it.
The court accepts this into evidence.
Thank you.
Very well, Mr. Justice. You may cross-examine the witness.
Yes, Your Honor. I noticed in the anime, whenever guns were involved, they changed the guns to revolvers, which would be the more common gun found in Japan, because that's what Japanese police carry.
Oh yeah.
Trucy, why are you staring like that at the witness?
That man. I can't help but feel I've seen him somewhere before. Present Maracta's autopsy report on the 5th statement.
Single bullet to the right temple, not the forehead.
Yep.
That's all of it. I think I have a chance. Is that you relaxing, I see, Herr Justice?
Objection! Once is quite enough, Mr. Justice.
Oh. Apollo, pace yourself. This trial's not over yet.
Right. Look at this.
The autopsy report? Is there a problem with the autopsy report?
Right. A problem. Problem. Yes! The problem is the location of the entry wound.
The location?
You testified that the killer shot the victim square in the forehead, did you not? Ah, I have already determined your angle of inquiry. Allow me to explain. It is quite simple, really. First, understand that when I say square, I speak not of geometrical what I do mean by this. For example, the deflection of a meteor is the wavelength of the light emitted by a krypton particle, as we all know. In addition, is a well-known fact that the krypton particles are rare and invisible to the naked eye, which points to the basic fallacy in the line of reasoning, namely that...
Mr. Justice!
Yes?
Was your objection to these, krypton particle things?
This is the big time, and you're obsessed with something so small? You disappoint me. No, I'm obsessed with something big! I mean, there's a bigger, less nitpicky problem here.
Do tell.
Just look at the autopsy report. The location of the entry wound was... the right temple! Temple? Mr. Stickler, you said quite clearly that the victim was shot square in the forehead. That's a contradiction, isn't it? Isn't it? It is, right? Finally. Objection! Herr Justice. Oh, Herr Justice. Yes? Your tactics are outdated, trying to shake the witness by objecting to trifles? Surely you haven't forgotten that the fatal wound your master suffered 7 years ago. Phoenix Wright, was it? Look, I know the wound was in the wrong place according to this testimony. Hey, Herr Forehead. Forehead? Let us imagine you're walking through the park. You see 2 men facing each other, one with a pistol trained on the other. What would you do, Herr Forehead? Well, I guess I would try to stop them. I'd probably shout, "Stop!" And you, Fräulein?
Me? Well, I probably scream, eek!
And you, Herr Stickler, what would you shout, I wonder? If the victim turned his head at the last moment. Ah, yes, thank you for jogging my memory.
It sounds like an addendum to the testimony is required.
As soon as the killer raised his pistol, I took action. Cease this at once, you two, I cried, with composure. Sure. The victim turned in the direction of my voice, and a shot rang out. Whereupon our cowardly killer, the defendant, appeared to have become frightened. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene.
I see. So you attempted to stop the crime?
Indeed, with composure.
Well, maybe the criminal would have fired if he hadn't shouted like that.
That doesn't really matter now, unfortunately. Let us consider this new testimony, shall we? Observe the diagram, if you would. The witness, Mr. Stickler, was it, stood here. He shouted, "Oh, stop, please," or something of this nature. And the victim responded by looking in the witness's direction. If the killer were to have fired at just that moment, as you can see, the bullet would have struck the right temple, as in the report.
That does seem to be the case.
Witness the power of a junior at Ivy University's Department of Science.
Very well, Mr. Justice.
Ivy University, the same school that Dahlia Hawthorne went to?
Clearly.
Very well, Mr. Justice. You may cross-examine the witness.
Present the pistol at the fifth statement.
Wait a second. Another misleading request. Yet you're so beholden to your own mode of discourse, you can't see how it affects you. Come again? Wait a second, you say. A second. Are we intended to wait just that? A single second? 1/16th of a minute? 1/60th of a minute? That's hardly enough time to draw breath, let alone make a statement in court. Now, had you asked for a longer period of time, say 3 minutes...
Mr. Justice!
Yes, Your Honor?
Am I to understand you're objecting to the length of a second?
Yes, I mean, no! Here, just look at the pistol. It doesn't have a single fingerprint on it. Ah, common ploy. Made all the more common, I fear, by the prevalence of television. Criminals these days are loath to leave fingerprints. Wait, but you said the killer tossed the gun and ran.
That's right! He didn't have time to wipe the gun for prints!
Ah, the little girl sticking it to the university student. There's a song in there.
I'm not little!
Then let's think like adults, shall we, Fräulein?
I'm smitten.
What if the killer, the defendant, was wearing gloves?
Gotta admit, I didn't think of that, Apollo.
Well, Mr. Justice?
Could the killer have been wearing gloves?
No way!
The record of the murder weapon is very clear about one thing. The fingerprints were white, which means some trace of prints remained, which contradicts your testimony. If everything happened as you say it did, he wouldn't have had time to wipe the pistol. That may be, but it does not change what I saw. The killer, the defendant, he threw down the murderous weapon from his hand and fled. And this pistol was found at the scene of the crime, strongly suggesting that this was a weapon he disposed of. That sounds solid to me. Well, Herr Forehead, any of your previous precious objections?
What What gives, Apollo? Let's see that voice training go to work.
You know, I've only recently realized something. No matter how much you train your voice, it doesn't matter if you have nothing to say. Exactly.
What do you mean, nothing to say? Isn't it obvious from what the witness just said?
Huh? Isn't what obvious?
When he restated that what he saw just now, he said he saw Walkie drop a, quote, murder weapon. But that's not the same as being 100% sure of what Walkie was threw away.
You're right!
He just confused because the pistol was found at the scene. Poor Mr. Stickler. It must be so hard to be so perfect and yet so wrong.
Well, it can be said that I'm quite offended. While it is indeed true that once in my youth I wrote a love letter that was seized by the teacher and posted on the blackboard for all to see, and for this the appellation poor might be prefixed by the name, yet as for the issue of...
Well, what we can say for certain is that the witness saw the killer throw something. Does the defense have anything to say about this?
Well, if what he threw wasn't a pistol, then it had to be something else.
At least one person on the defense team seems to be thinking. I'll wipe that smile off your pretty face, Gavin.
Perhaps you can inform the court of the nature of this something else. What did the killer throw away before fleeing the scene?
The knife.
Is that a sword? I saw one of those on the late-night movie last night.
Great, a sleep-deprived judge. This knife was found at the scene of the crime, with the defendant's prints on it.
His prints?
The single piece of evidence proves two important things. One, that what the defendant threw down wasn't a pistol. Two, what the defendant wasn't wearing gloves.
Indeed.
Oh, Hair Forehead. You're forgetting two other things that you've just proven. Huh? One, that the man the witness saw the defendant was the defendant, Mr. Walkie Kataki. Two, that the defendant was holding a knife with the intent of harming the victim. Oh!
Indeed.
Never underestimate a Gavin is the lesson here.
The court is of the opinion that our witness is fond of making assumptions. In that light, I believe it would behoove us to hear about what really occurred. With less assuming, please.
It is always the same with you people. Mark left the house on foot. 5 minutes later, his brother left after him. How long would it take for Mark's brother to catch up to him? Assuming that Mark never had to stop for a traffic light, I don't have a brother. Assuming, yes, that's what I said. Assuming. As if it were a probable situation at all. Yet here you are assuming that my assumption is no better.
What the court assumes is the witness will testify as to what happened after the shot was fired.
I cannot prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police. Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else. Why didn't you chase the killer? He was, as you say, a killer. Of course I could have run him down, yet what would he have done when cornered? Sadly, it takes more than aptitude for solving quadratic equations to know that. Did the testimony earlier not prove the defendant's presence at the scene? Also, do we not also now know that there was no one else there? It seems clear that we have our killer. Does it not?
Does it not, Mr. Justice?
I better find a way to take this testimony down quick.
Press on all statements.
Which way did the killer run? By that time, it was clear that the killer had noticed me. Naturally, he ran in the opposite direction. That would mean he ran in the opposite direction from the Kataki mansion. Achtung! Don't even think about pointing out that he was going away from his home. All he had to do was look back once he was out of sight.
Ugh. How did he know that's where I was going? You were certainly composed for someone who had just witnessed a killing. If one is to devote one's life to the pursuit of science, one must never flinch at the sight of a little blood, nor be moved by a chemical discovery that one drops one's flask upon the lab room floor. Oh, cool answer. Very cool. So nothing strange about how he acted. Trucy looks like she has something to say. Wasn't your first thought to call an ambulance? It can be said that I have dabbled in medicine. The injury I witnessed, namely a single shot to the head, tends to result in death. Ergo, there was no need for me to call an ambulance. Oh, a perfect syllogism? Syllogism. A proof in 3 parts. Exquisite! Simply exquisite! He actually looks like he's going to cry. Can you tell us in detail about these 10 minutes? I stood in a state of heightened awareness. Anything could happen at any moment. Anyone could appear in it from any direction. Is that all? No one came, nothing happened at all. I saw it all, which is to say, I saw nothing. It was late at night. I think it's not odd to think there would be few people around the park. So he just stood there, watching? Not much to go on there.
Trucy is seeing something that we don't.
Trucy, if you've got something to say, by all means, say it. Ugh, find a single problem with that testimony.
More like she's seeing something that we don't.
Had enough at last, Hair Forehead? Maybe it's time to back off a bit.
Yes.
There's nothing fishy about that testimony at all. It appears there are no objections to the witness's current testimony. There are any number of ways to explain the lack of prints on the pistol, I assure you. Perhaps the killer really was wearing gloves which wiped the previous user's prints off. Then after the deed was done, this fell out of his pocket as he was throwing the gun away. A mistake befitting of a small-time punk, in my opinion. No! No! It seems we've come to the end of the line here. No, it can't be all. How unfortunate. It seems that you weren't cut out to stand on the same stage as me. Were you, Hair Forehead? I believe this brings the cross-examination to a close. The court will now declare a verdict for the defendant, Walkie Kataki.
Hold it!
Trucy! Nobody move.
Go, it's you.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you? There'll be no verdict in this court. Not yet. Wait, are you one of the Katakis? The Katakis? You mean the notorious gangsters? If you don't want to see me give this pretty little girl a new smile, do as I say. Adjourn the court for 20 minutes. What? This court will not bow to the pressure of the likes of... Hair Judge. I see little point in further aggravating this gentleman. Recess 20 minutes, or I promise you'll regret it. Oh, wait! How'd he disappear so fast?
Come to the defendant lobby, Apollo!
I suppose I have no choice but to adjourn for a 20-minute recess. Bailiff, catch that mysterious man!
We're still going.
Yep. Juicy! Juicy! You move quick, Apollo. Good show, good show. Juicy, you're okay. I thought...
Don't cry, Apollo!
Those good-for-nothing gangsters. There are some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges.
Wait, just calm down, Apollo. Or else...
What the heck is that?
Surprised? This is one of my best tricks, the amazing Mr. Hat.
You look marvelous, darling. He's a
big hit on stage at the Wonder Bar.
Yes, I'm a big hit.
Well, what do you think? Do you like it?
Did you just lie in front of an entire court, Trucy?
Yep.
You mean you... Trucy, there are some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges.
Apollo, now's not the time to be threatening me. It's you who's being threatened here.
Huh?
Remember what you said to Walkie's father yesterday? You promised you'd save his son.
But that testimony was rock solid. What are you suggesting I do?
Look, once the judge declares a verdict, it's all over. If I can use my talent to stop that from happening, I will.
Trucy, no more stage abductions, please.
I'm not talking about magic, Apollo. I know when the witness isn't confident, I can perceive what he's feeling. It might not mean anything, but it's all we've got. That's the key word here. Perceive.
You can see what he's feeling?
Think back, Apollo. Think back to the times when there was a contradiction in his testimony. All the times.
All the times there was a contradiction.
I don't remember.
Actually, I don't remember them exactly.
Good thing I do. There were 2 times when he made statements he wasn't confident in. And each time, there was a contradiction.
In his hand he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene.
He said the man tossed aside a pistol. But it turned out he wasn't sure, and sure enough, there was a contradiction.
Well, that's true, but how does that help us?
Didn't you notice anything? Whenever he made a statement he wasn't confident in, he displayed a certain habit.
In his hand he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand.
Did you see it? The very moment he said the word pistol, his fingers got all tense and he fiddled with the corner of the page of his book.
How am I supposed to see that?
Well, I could see it. How else do you think Daddy would went 7 years out losing it to a game of poker?
What? You know what? That makes total sense now.
I always sat next to Daddy during big matches. I could see what his opponents were feeling.
You mean that's how Mr. Wright won all those games?
It's not cheating officially. I wasn't looking at their hands or anything. And I wasn't there all the time either. Daddy's quite good at poker after all, but not good enough to go undefeated that long.
Great, so he cheated. But what does that do for us? I don't believe this.
You have to listen to his testimony one more time. No, scratch that. You have to watch his testimony. Perceive the truth.
Watch a testimony? Perceive the truth? The only thing I'm perceiving is that I'm going to lose.
Not true. Daddy said so. He said you have the power, Apollo.
Mr. Wright said that? Watch the testimony. Perceive his true feelings. Is she serious?
Time's up. Sorry, I can't think of any other way out of this one, Apollo.
What was that she said before the trial started? Huh, Mr. Wright's not here today.
He said his old foot injury was acting up. Yes, he smiled when he said we'd be fine, as long as you're there, Trucy.
Is this what he meant by us being fine? Well, methods aside, she did avoid one guilty verdict already today. Time to show this court what I'm made of. Get ready for justice. Let's do it.
Apollo?
You know, I'm starting to think I can do this.
I knew you could do it all along. Oh, one more thing. Try to cover him for Mr. Hat as best you can.
I just flew in from the coast and boy, my arms are tired. Right. Ugh. Court is now back in session. Right, we're fine. I'd like to say to this young lady standing next to you, Mr. Justice.
Oh, you mean me?
Don't you have anything to report? Anything concerning the mysterious phantom in the silk top hat? Right, him. Don't worry about him. I settled that. You settled that? Yes, it was an out-of-court settlement. Right. Perhaps Fraulein would have us believe it was nothing more than a passing dream. A fantastic illusion. Now you see it, now you don't. Am I right?
I think he's on to me.
You don't see! I wish you would stop being so cool.
He is so cool!
Let us dispense with these niceties and get straight to the matter. What are your plans for our gifted witness? Right, the defense would like to request another cross-examination. Because I forgot to ask something. There was no issue with the witness's previous testimony. I will grant your request, however, but this court will not permit stalling for time. Understood, Your Honor.
Don't forget, Apollo. When he isn't sure about something, he has a habit of fiddling with his book.
I could not prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police. Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else.
The third statement, ergo, I took my cell phone, he was fiddling with the book.
I'm not sure I'm qualified to watch testimonies after all.
Focus, Apollo. Find his weak spot.
Focus. If only it were that easy. My ears hear what he says, my eyes see his expression. Do I have to do something more? What other senses do I have? What's this? My bracelet! What's going on? My bracelet feels different somehow.
I think Daddy was right. You can see it, can't you, Apollo? You're almost there. Find the weak spot in his testimony.
I know this sounds crazy, but my bracelet is trying to tell me something.
Yeah, in case you guys can't tell, this bracelet is like the Magatama of this game.
Yeah.
So go to the third statement. And press.
So you called immediately after witnessing the murder? The police undoubtedly have a record of the call. Why not check with them?
Wait, Apollo! This has to be it.
Wait, you mean his habit?
Don't forget, Apollo. When he isn't sure about something, he has a habit of fiddling with his book.
The only time he even had the book open was here. Which means this is the place looking for his habit. I don't know how I know, but I know.
Know what?
It's my bracelet. It's different somehow. I can feel it reacting to something about the witness.
Your bracelet?
It looks like she's looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I get this focus stuff you were talking about, Trucy, but I have a feeling that trusting my bracelet is the way to go.
Perceive.
Okay, I just need to touch my bracelet with Y as it reacts to the testimony. Whoa, what's going on? I can see the witness's face, his expression so clearly. It's filling my mind. I can see nothing else, hear nothing else.
Apollo?
Trucy, what's happening to me?
This is what I meant by focusing.
Focusing?
In this state, you can see everything, Apollo. Everything the witness does.
Oh, so this is going to be the gimmick of this game. That's great, but this is kind of freaking me out.
Just look for Mr. Stickler's twitch, his habit. You remember it, right?
Sure, when he says something he's not sure if, he fiddles with a page in his book.
You got it! Right now, you're looking at the witness's face. And your eyes are sort of bugging out.
I'll bet they are.
First, move your focus of attention down to Mr. Stickler's hand.
His hand?
You know what to look for now, but you had to be looking at the right place.
She's right. I can only see his face like this. Time to try changing my viewpoint.
Yeah, his fingers. Perfect! Now you're really ready.
Ready for what?
Ready to perceive the truth behind the twitch.
Perceive?
Try listening to the witness talk as you focus. Then watch for his habit.
Right. You mean when he fiddles with the page?
That's right! That's when you're signaled to look closer, to perceive with why. Find his weak spot and I guarantee you'll be able to give him the royal flush.
Spoken like a true pokerhead's daughter.
I'm a magician, thank you very much.
So I have to pay attention to his words and his fingers.
Don't worry if you miss it, you can always try again.
Right. Look out, nervous twitch, here comes justice.
Perceive. Go.
I
there we go.
use my cell phone.
I saw it! Just now! I could see it!
Mr. Justice, do you have something to say?
All this banging of desks, it's quite bad for my circulation, you know. Mr. Stickler, allow me to ask you a simple question. Why did you fiddle with the page of your book just now? The very moment you mentioned your cell phone.
What are you talking about?
I'm curious now about this cell phone of yours. Mind if I ask you a few questions? What to ask? What to ask?
Ask to see his phone.
Mr. Stickler, please show me your cell phone. Ugh, why? Whatever for? Show me and you'll find out.
Well, I can't. I don't have it, you see. You don't have it?
Mr. Stickler, is this your cell phone?
Yeah, where did you get that?
That's the phone from yesterday!
Why does he have a pink cell phone?
Color has no gender.
Look, a cell phone!
Someone dropped it beneath this tire. If the car moved, it would be crushed for sure.
I wonder where if it belongs to the doctor here. Whatever you like, buddy. How strange, Mr. Stickler. Can you explain why your cell phone is sitting here in my hand at this very moment?
Wait a minute. What is the meaning of this?
The cell phone was found yesterday. In the Maractus Clinic garage, whatever.
The Maractus? Why, that's where the victim lived.
Ugh, that's impossible! Mr. Stickler, you lied to the court, didn't you? If your cell phone is here, how could you have called the police?
Ah!
You know, funny enough, pink used to be a boy's color.
Huh.
Back in like the 50s and 60s.
I see.
It's true, I didn't have my cell phone that night. This is why it can be said that I called the police from a public payphone.
A payphone, so you didn't call on your cell phone after all.
Just where was this payphone located, Mr. Stickler?
Well, to indicate it with a startlingly high degree of accuracy, it was right around here. That's quite a ways from the park. But why did you lie?
There can only be one reason. He didn't want the court to know he had lost his cell phone, because it was found in the victim's garage.
What are you saying?
Mr. Stickler, you broke into the Maractus Clinic garage on the night of the murder. This cell phone tells all.
But that's ridiculous! That makes it sound like I snuck into this fellow's garage to commit some crime!
As though I were trying to kill him!
Well, Dr. Maractus was killed that night.
Well, yes, but no, this line of reasoning has to be against the rules. Yes, it's true, I lost my cell phone, but you can't prove that I lost it that night.
Well, Mr. Justice, if that cell phone was dropped the night of the murder, it does raise considerable suspicions to the connection with the crime.
Now's your chance, Apollo. Connect Mr. Stickler to the crime.
Oh, he's already connected enough. I just have to prove it. Well, do I have a piece of evidence that can do the job? Can I prove the cell phone was dropped on the night of the murder?
Show evidence.
Of course I have evidence! Oh, I like your swagger, Hair Forehead. Hit it!
The court will see this evidence, Mr. Justice. Hit it, as they say.
The evidence that proves the cell phone was dropped on the night of the murder is...
The mirror!
That's a side view mirror?
As so it happens, Dr. Maractus's car was in an accident that took place the night of the murder.
An accident?
An accident. It happened a little after 9 p.m., just outside People Park, our murder scene. Dr. Maractus's car hit a pedestrian.
What are you trying to say?
From the absence of a mirror, it's clear that the car was parked after the accident, which means it was parked here after 9 p.m. on the night of the murder. If your cell phone had been dropped before the car was parked in the garage, then it would have been crushed. After all, it was lying on the ground right under the wheel. Ergo, Mr. Stickler, the only time you could have dropped this in that garage was after 9 p.m. the night of the murder in the park. Mr. Stickler, you know what this means? You did break into the victim's garage that night.
This is most unexpected, Mr. Justice. Are you naming the witness as a suspect in the murder of Pal Maractus?
No, stop! This is too much! This can't be happening! Prosecutor, say something! I suppose it's worth saying this. No connection has been found between Wesley Stickler and Pal Maractus. That is, other than this.
I believe our next testimony will be the most revelatory. Is the witness prepared?
Yes, Your Honor. I know that face. That's the face of guilt. That night, yes, I went to the supermarket. I must have dropped my cell phone on my way back. And when I walked through the park, I happened to witness the crime. I saw the killer, the victim, the stand, all as clear as day. It was him. I saw the defendant at the scene.
Sure.
Yes, but your cell phone was lying in a garage.
Yes, you can say my model of cell phone has a defect. It's given to rolling. It's quite a pain to stop it alongside the road, you don't. How can it roll? It's a square! Or a cuboid, rather.
I don't know.
Looks like a normal cell phone to me. In any case, Mr. Justice, the cross-examination, please.
That's funny. My bracelet didn't react at all during the testimony.
His nervous habit must not be acting up. I didn't sense anything either, actually. Looks like you're on your own this time around.
Yes, how can a cell phone that's clearly the shape of a cuboid or a rectangle roll?
I don't know.
Right, no problem. I hope. Here comes justice.
Press on the forged statement. Oh, you can see the bracelet up above.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. I like that.
This part of the testimony is the key. I know it. Should I press him about the killer, the victim, or the noodle stand?
The noodle stand.
Do you happen to remember the noodle stand? Quite well, yes. For a student of the sciences, keen observation and healthy curiosity are vital. I remember everything. I could even read the sign. I believe it said... Noodle! Yes, that was it. For remembering something quite well, it sure took you a while to tell us. And thank you for telling us that a noodle stand sells noodles. Very enlightening. Well, Mr. Justice? What about that sign? Could that be important?
Yes, very important.
So the sign on the noodle stand said, noodle? It appears the defense has just obtained a vital piece of testimony. Is this noodle stand's broth really that delicious? I'll have to go sample the wares one of these days. I think it's worth adding to the testimony as well. Whatever sort of noodles that stand sells, it can't match up to the IVU's cafeteria.
Ew.
Some apply to school merely for a taste of our smart noodles. For someone who's been to college 3 times and university once, the food's usually pretty bad.
When is school food ever good?
I wouldn't mind a taste of that myself.
But this is new.
Sorry?
This is a new testimony. You can voice it.
Why, I even remember the sign of the stand the victim was pulling. It said, noodle!
Present the noodle stand! He's wrong!
Objection!
And you're absolutely sure the sign read noodle? Why, just last week my professor offered me this praise. At least you have good eyesight, Stickler. I'll give you that. It read without a doubt, noodle. I see. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Is that pity I see in your eyes? Let's take a look at our map, shall we? So you're claiming that when you saw the sign, you were standing
There.
here, was it? Although it would have been a bit hard to read the sign from this spot. You think so? Mr. Stickler, if you would please take another look at the stand and carefully read what the sign says. See, the sign actually states the name of the stand's owner. Eldoons. Inconceivable! I'm certain it was definitely noodle for sure. Positive. I'm afraid your professor was wrong about that eyesight. I wouldn't be so quick to jump to that conclusion. The sign you saw changes everything. The witness says the sign said noodle.
He was right. He saw it right.
Would you say if I told you that there is one spot from which the sign which would be read that way, Mr. Stickler claims? What? Mr. Justice, show us this spot. The witness actually viewed the stand from this location.
Present the spot just above the stand. Let me send you a picture.
Here?
No, I'll send you a picture on Discord. It looks like this.
Right, the road.
Yeah. It's present the spot just above the noodle stand.
The witness was standing here, on the opposite side. How did you know that? When viewed from the south, the sign on the stand reads Eldoons, as we know. However,
Yep.
observe the other side of the stand. Oh! This side says noodle. Exactly. The name of the stand is split between the front and back signs. Mr. Stickler, you lied to the court.
You witnessed the crime from the northern side of the park, not the south. Oh, you got me. So what? So what? What does it matter if he saw the killing from the north or south side? It makes no difference at all. He's right. Travel far enough to the south and you will end up going north. Viewed on a global scale, directions are utterly without meaning. Actually, maybe he's right. What does it change?
It changes everything, Apollo.
Trucy?
Remember his testimony from before? Though to be honest, I'm a little scared of where this is leading. Whoa, 3D. The killer and the victim are facing each other here. Then, at the moment the killer raises his weapon, Mr. Stickler shouts, at which point the victim turns his head to look, and the killer fires his pistol. That's why the bullet hit him in the right temple. No contradictions, right?
Right. But if Mr. Stickler was standing on the north side of the park, that reverses the whole scenario.
Yeah, we've said completely. Mr. Stickler shouts from where he is now, and the victim looks in his direction. It'll be the left side. The bullet would have had to hit his left temple. In other words, someone standing at point K couldn't shoot the victim in his right temple. It's impossible.
That's right.
So, now that we know that Mr. Stickler was standing on the northern side, the wound location takes an entirely different meaning.
Yep, you're definitely Phoenix Wright's daughter.
Yep.
Indeed. You're absolutely correct, Fraulein. What meaning?
The entry wound was on the right side of the victim's head, correct? Well, the right side of the victim's head is north.
North? Ah! But that's where the witness, Wesley Stickler, was standing.
Correct. So if he was standing to the north, then the only person here who could have shot the victim in the right temple was Miss Stickler himself!
Ah! Order! 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 Wow, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's what I said! She flipped this whole case on its head while I was still figuring it out.
Like father, like daughter.
Clarify one point for me if you would, Herr Forehead. What now? Are you truly accusing this college student of murder? Well, I can't say he exactly looks innocent, but something still doesn't feel right. I just can't picture him as the real killer. No, please, looks aside, I'm really a nice guy. All my friends say so. Let's hear what the defense has to say. What are you going to do now, Justice? Should I really accuse Mr. Stickler?
Accused of another crime.
I don't think Wesley Stickler is a killer, but he's not innocent either. His unusual silence tells me that much. Mr. Stickler, you seem unusually quiet. Tell us why now. The word confession isn't in my dictionary. Tisk, 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 Herr Forehead. I'm afraid it falls to you to elucidate Herr Stickler's silence. Mr. Justice, did you just say you were accusing the witness? Did you just say... Ugh. You did say you were accusing the witness just now. For a crime other than murder. Your reason? Court's all ears. Ah, I know he's guilty of something, but what crime other than murder is there? Do I have evidence that shows his involvement in some other crime? Your evidence? The court's all eyes, Mr. Justice. Show us evidence that points to this witness's involvement in a crime.
Trucy's panties!
The evidence is this.
What? Is that women's underwear?
Hey, those are mine!
Don't look at me like that! Order! 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 Mr. Stickler, while I can't say this comes as a shock, it's not what it seems! My something theorem.
Pythagoras real
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the night of the murder, just past 9 p.m., a young girl catches a panty snatcher red-handed. Bravely, she gives chase, but the snatcher flees and hides himself in no other place than in the Maractus Clinic garage. Aha! Incidentally, these panties were found in the exhaust pipe of the car there. Presumably, he was trying to hide the evidence of his crime. Ergo, while you may not be a murderer, you are guilty of panty snatching in the first degree. Please, hear me out! That's not what it looks like! Yeah, right. Order! Order! Mr. Stickler, you should be ashamed! Yes, I agree. It's not what it seems!
Oh, shit!
You alright there, buddy?
You okay, dude?
So, are we to understand that you were silent not because you were guilty of murder, but because you lacked the courage to admit the theft of this girl's undergarments? Perhaps you're not aware of my school's name, which was originally written IV. I stands for intelligent, V stands for valiant, see? Your point? I'm not done! Now, I'm a major in the science department. And what does science teach if not curiosity? Yes, we of the IVU science department are valiantly curious. No challenge is too daunting, and what greater challenge is to science than a mystery? Come on, you're talking about a girl's panties here. No, you do not understand. A mystery is the unknown, and the unknown is unacceptable. And my friends, when it comes to mysteries, those panties are the promised land.
Oh my god!
From the moment I first laid eyes on them, I was compelled to investigate for science. A full-size car tire was the first mystery those panties revealed.
What?
Tire? Yes, I saw her do it. She pulled the tire out of those panties. But that's not all. First, there was the tire, then a stew pot, and a frozen chicken. One mystery after another. It was magic. Yeah, literally.
Oh, I remember now. He's one of the regulars in the audience at the Wonder Bar, and you're just now telling us this!
Huh?
He's talking about my magic panties trick. Again, Trucy, you're just now telling us this?
I just don't understand. A broom from a pair of panties. It mocks the very laws of physics. Yeah, that's called a magic trick. A broom and a frozen chicken, Trucy? Whatever happened to doves and bunny rabbits? Mr. Stickler, you stole this girl's panties to understand a magic trick? You say panties, but they're much more than that. For me, they are an object for serious study. I wonder. There's been a recent rash of panty snatchings in the area. Were they all you? I'm sorry, but I did it for science. Sure you did, pal. Each time I spied the... Maybe this would be a pair that would be ludic. Even that night as she chased me through the streets, I wept tears of joy. Perhaps this is the night that I will seize the truth that lies within those panties. Yet woe is I, for once again the lazy heart pants. Ugh.
What the fuck? This guy's a creep!
No shit. Still, that leaves one thing unexplained. Ah, you refer to the witness's other lie, yes? The witness claimed he saw the crime from the south, but it was in fact the north. Indeed. Would anyone care to explain why he lied about that? Be my guest, Herr Forehead. Me? Did I not hear you correctly? Did you not say you do not accuse the witness of murder? Why then did the witness lie about the location at the time of the shooting? Or have you no idea?
Apollo, there's something about the way the diagram is arranged right now. When you think about it, right near where Mr. Stickler was standing, isn't there
Well, Mr. Justice, what do you say? What say you? Do you have any evidence to show that the witness lied about his location?
the bloomers?
Take that!
The evidence shows that he lied is this.
What? More panties?
How many pennies are you carrying in your pocket, Herr Forehead? These are the last! Honest! They were found in a trash can at the park. Looking at the diagram,
Yep.
we can see that the trash can was right next to where the witness stood.
Mr. Stickler, you didn't...
Alas, I'm a failure as a scientist. I can't unravel the mysteries of the universe. I can't even unravel a pair of panties.
So, these panties are your handiwork as well?
That night, I'd been chased, hounded into the Maractus Clinic garage. Weeping in frustration, I was forced to abandon my prize. Don't you see how I felt?
Believe me, I'd rather not.
I hid in the garage for a short while. Then, abandoning the panties, I made for home. To avoid the office where the girl works, I went towards the south entrance. When I saw them hanging there, on the clothesline by a giant mansion. A giant pair of panties.
Apparently he didn't know those bloomers belonged to the mob.
I had them safe in my pocket, ready to take home, when I stumbled upon a murder. The murder of Dr. Maractus. I reported what I had seen, but as I waited for the police to arrive, I got scared. What if they searched me?
That's when you disposed of the bloomers?
Yes, it was a severe blow to the progress of science, but one has to be born.
A fascinating, if disturbing, tale.
Well, that's one mystery solved, I guess.
I believe this brings today's proceedings to a close, and I'm more than pleased to dismiss this witness for the remainder of the trial.
Thank
One
you.
last thing, if I might.
Yes, Prosecutor Gavin?
Regardless of where we ended today, some vital points were made. Namely, that the defendant, Waki Kataki, was at the scene of the crime. And he was pointing a weapon at the victim. One more thing. Waki Kataki has a clear motive.
Indeed, the defendant Waki Kataki is still the prime suspect in this case. The only suspect, in fact, assuming there was no one else at the scene of the crime. Yet a mystery remains. The location of the wound in the victim's right temple has yet to be explained. The court requests further investigation from both the defense and prosecution.
Yeah, baby. No problem.
Very well, this brings the trial for the day to a close. Court is adjourned.
Well, that was something.
How would they handle that scene if they adapted this game into an anime like the first 3 games?
They probably wouldn't, because you know how sensitive the media is.
But if they did, I'd want Ian Sinclair to voice Stickler in the English dub.
Yes, please!
He'd be perfect.
Oh my god, he would.
Good lord.
I know, right?
Hopefully I don't have to deal with him for the rest of the trial. God.
Just, my god.
I did it for science, I swear! It's not because I'm a total fucking pervert. Good lord. How to tell this game was made in Japan originally?
Yep. Who's Ian Sinclair, Wolf Jarl? He's a voice actor. He is Whis in Dragon Ball Super. He is Romano in Italia.
Niall
He's
Dock in
Dandy.
Attack on Titan.
He's Dandy in Space Dandy.
Yeah, he's been in quite a few things. He's Einar in the Sentai / Crunchyroll dub of Vinland Saga.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a really good voice actor.
Oh my god, he's so talented.
He's very energetic as well, which is why I think he'd be perfect for that role. Or
Oh my god.
just to go a bit out of the realms of Texas here, if they had a New York cast, what if they got what was the name of Pegasus's act? Darren Dunstan to voice him.
Yeah, Darren Dunstan, yes! He'd be amazing!
Yeah,
oh my god.
The one who voiced Pegasus and Yukio.
Yes!
Oh,
Oh
good
my
lord.
god.
Hopefully the rest of this case will be a little more mature.
Yes. Hey, at least the mystery of the panties has been solved.
Oh, good lord.
Can we move on? Can we move on, please?
Yes, please.
Go ahead. You're gonna say?
I was gonna say for the first part we did create a drinking game for every time the word panties was said, but I don't want to be responsible for killing anyone.
Yeah, I'm not paying for your death certificate. Nor am I paying for your funeral or insurances. Sorry.
Anyway, now to give my voice a break, seeing as I voiced like 90% of that.
Yeah.
Aye.
You voiced like 5 characters, damn.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, four guys and the other a puppet.
Yes, a puppet.
Like, huh? Who had thought Trucy was good at ventriloquism?
Yeah, that wouldn't swing in a real court. She'd probably be held in contempt for that.
Not to mention withholding information. Oh, hey, Stifler's one of my regulars at the Wonder Bar. It's like, Trucy, if you were an official in the court and you said that out loud, you would have been arrested for perjury.
Anyways, anything to say before we step off?
Nope, I'm good. Oh yeah, wait, there is one thing. Panties.
Yes.
Drink.
The Dragon Balls, remember? There are 7 of them. They grant you any wish you want, like immortality
Or
Bulma's panties.
Bulma's panties. Yes.
Yeah, pandas. You know, Nappa, one of these days you're going to die, and then you'll be out of my hair forever. Anyways, tune in next week for the finale of Grand Theft Auto 3, and the week after that for more of this. See you then.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.